Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford, and joining me today for this Patreon episode, they are a New York City award-winning entertainer, socialite, and activist.
Hi friends, me JMV for Just My Vibe. Hi Ian.
Hi. You just informed me that that's what the JMV stands for, and I love that, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny how that came about, and I never tell anybody this because it's usually longer than it has to be. But it actually stands for my government middle name, my Catholic confirmation name, and when I used to drink, they used to call me Veronica. And then after I came out as non-binary, I was talking about JMV, and I was like, yeah, it's just my vibe. And my friend goes, oh my god, JMV, just my vibe. And I was like, ah!
I do
And
like that.
yeah. And then I was on tour with Alaska and she cut off my government name and just started calling me JMV. And I was like, work.
Nice. Yeah, I really thought it was like, yeah, initial. I mean, I figured it was initials, but yeah, I didn't. I love that so much.
It's a vibe.
We FYI to everyone listening, we spent like 20 minutes talking beforehand, so we're probably going to talk a lot. um,
Mm-hmm.
this is your first time coming on the podcast.
Yes, it is.
Would you like to give me your Buffy origin story?
Oh my god, I love an origin story. Yeah. So I watched it like when it first aired. I was a teeny bopper. I think it was like 7 when it came out, maybe 8. And I would just sit there and watch it with my mom and my sister because my sister's 5 years older than me. So she was like teenager. Like this was her era with Buffy.
Yeah.
And my mom loved it, the strong, empowered woman sense. So that's how it started. I just started watching with my sister and remember those things, the cassette tapes and like not cassette tapes, VHS tapes.
Yeah.
So my sister bought all the seasons on VHS, and so we rewatched it that way, and then the DVDs, and now streaming. And yeah, it's just something that always stuck with me as a young queer kid. It's
Do you
super
remember? I
simple.
mean, you were really young, but do you remember the first? Was it like, did your sister start watching from the beginning or?
Oh yeah, she started
Yeah,
watching from the beginning. And I just remember also, oh, she recorded it. Remember when you could push record on your VCR? She
I used to do
recorded
that.
it, and
Yeah.
we did that every. Yeah, oops, forgot about that. But yeah, from the very get go, I remember even when I was a teenager and it was still on, and I remember getting home from school and like the dance studio and sitting down and eating food and watching Buffy and doing my homework. It's just so vivid. Oh, and when it switched to UPN, our town didn't have that station. So
One
we
of my
had to
friends has that exact same story that he couldn't watch Buffy anymore because he didn't have UPN. Yeah.
well, my grandmother who lived 15 minutes away had UPN. So it's Tuesday. We're gonna drive up to grandma's house, have dinner with her, and grandma, we're using you to watch Buffy.
I love that so much.
Uh-huh. It was a whole thing. Yeah. We would have dinner with her and when it was time for her to go to bed, we would put her to bed and watch Buffy and then just be like, "All right, bye grandma."
I love that so much. I had like one of my dressers, I had a drawer that was just full of my Buffy VHS tapes that I had taped off TV.
We need to be best friends. What's your zodiac sign?
I'm Aquarius, but I'm the first day of Aquarius, cusp of Capricorn.
Oh my god, my rising is Aquarius.
Ooh,
Happy Aquarius season and happy belated birthday.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, of course. You're a fierce person, I can already tell.
And I still have, you probably can't see them, but like here and here are the Buffy season 2 and 3 cassette tape sets on my shelf
Oh my god.
that I
My,
have from back then.
Oh my god. So I in my CD case, yes, a CD case. I still have a CD case like with the little flaps and the
I have one
slides.
that's like my special CDs that I can't get rid of. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have a few of the Buffy CDs, DVDs
I
still.
love that.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. Did you ever play the Buffy video game on I think it was PlayStation?
I played with this. There was two, and I played the second one, but I never played the first one.
I think I played the first one where they go, I think it starts off in the hospital and she has Sid with her.
Okay, yeah, that's the first one. I never played that one.
Yeah. That's the one I played. That one was so difficult to get through. I didn't really understand where to go half the time. It was like
Were you not a big video games girl either when you were younger? Because I wasn't, and I was really. I remember being really bad at the Buffy video game.
it. I was bad at that one. It depended on what it was. I was like a Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, like Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Um, baby, we could always play James Bond, and I loved it. And Mario Kart, obviously, a little bit, and Donkey Kong, yes.
Mario Kart is like the one game I can play with my nephew, and he is like, I am so cool because I am so good at Mario Kart, and like no other adult in our family is like, because I'm the baby by far and I'm 42. So like no one else can play with him and play well. And I'm like always so proud of myself because he's like very impressed that like an adult can play video games with him.
This is like fierce Gunkle vibes, and I'm so into it. It's always the Gunkle. The Gunkle's the cool one. Like, hello.
Because my brother will try to play, because like my brother had it. My brother's young enough that he had a Nintendo, but like he just like didn't play, so he's not good at it. But
Oh, okay, work. Okay, fierce. Okay, we love that.
they told me that
Okay,
my
we
nephew
told you we
told
were going to
his.
talk a lot,
I know,
everyone.
I know. They told me that my nephew told his friends that I was a Mario Kart expert. And he was like, "Oh, my uncle is a Mario Kart expert." And I was like, "Ugh, I've never been prouder of like
Oh my
something my
god.
nephew said about me."
I listen, I can do it on N64. You put me in a new gaming system, no, no, no. But
It is
that's
a
because
little
what we grew
jarring.
up on. Yeah, but also I feel like the handling is different. When we were younger, the handling was so much easier. I mean, granted, I guess that what makes you really good at the game is if you're better with the new
Yeah.
controls, but I'm not.
I mean, I come in second. Usually I'm like second close behind him. If we play like 10 rounds, I'll come in first for like 3 and he's in first for the rest of them.
But if Buffy came in second,
Right?
she would end up drowning in a pool of water. I was like, "Hey, girl, hey." I was
So
like,
we are here to talk Goodbye Iowa for its 25th anniversary. It's Buffy season 4. What did you think revisiting this episode? Just off the top of your head.
okay, so actually, this is one of the better episodes of the season.
Okay, okay.
And like it's still not great because I really don't like the character, the villain Adam, and it's such a thing, and like this is the episode where I start to really be like, this is foreshadowing. Like I really don't like Riley anymore. Like, and I was watching it and like this is really where it starts. This is ground zero of disliking Riley. And so I had this whole moment of like, oh God, Mark Lucas, why do you have to disappoint us? You're so hot. Come on, summer catch. Um, no, and I
Right, he's
just
very handsome. I always say that. I'm like, he could get it. Just don't love the character.
right, but like don't let him open his mouth or hang out with Xander. No, revisiting this episode, I because of the episode that comes before and the episode like sandwiched between these two episodes, I think it's Iron Team,
Yeah.
the Iron Team, and then This Year's Girl. And so like being sandwiched between those episodes, I was like, oh God, we just have to get through this whole thing to get us to the next plot point. And I think for me, it's like they had to put this episode in there. I again, I really I loved Maggie Walsh up until this point too, until the end of last episode. Like
I think
even
she
her
was a
being
really good villain that had really good potential. Like if they kept her with Adam and Adam was just like her like muscle, it would have been fine.
instead of the reverse of what happens where Adam is the muscle, she's just a used body
Yeah.
essentially. No, but I really love like there's the I forget which episode right now, don't crucify me for this one, where it's with Giles. Oh, it's
A new
literally
man.
the
A
Giles
new man.
episode, the new man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And where he like where she's such, can I curse?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I just have to make sure a quick consent. Where she's such a bitch to him, but she does it in such a smooth way, and I'm like, God, I love her.
That actor's really good. Like I think
Oh,
she's really good.
Lindsay Krause.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really love her. Yeah, yeah. What about you?
I so I've been liking the initiative a tad more than I normally do going through it this time around. Um, like the Iron Team, watching that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a drag, but it was actually I liked it. It was actually like, okay, no, this is fun. There's just like a lot of plot they have to get through in the Iron Team and Goodbye Iowa, and I feel like
Mm,
Goodbye Iowa suffers a little bit more than the Iron Team does because Maggie Walsh and Buffy, they're like building up a cool, what you think is gonna be this like rivalry, but then she just dies. And I just think it would have been
yeah,
more interesting if she stuck around as like the big bad and like had all these like weird creation monsters that fought for her. That would have been cool. Um,
I agree. I
but
agree, and it does feel a little rushed because I
yeah,
mean, especially because like you Okay, so the series finale is definitely an awkward one. I understand why they put it where they put it, and it has nothing to do with the initiative, but I get it. But it like I feel like
Oh, Restless,
this
the season 4
yeah,
finale. I
yeah, yeah,
love that
yeah, yeah.
episode. I love it.
Oh, there. By the way, that the music from that I actually posted to my stories. I'll post it again around the time that this episode airs. But there is a performance that I did with that music excuse me, a choreography that I did with that music, and the dances. I'm shirtless, so it's really good. But no, the choreography is
I
good
see
too.
your post, motherfucker.
I mean, I no, but like the whole idea of like Buffy being set up and put into this room with these two demons that were picked there for by Maggie Walsh, and then it being on the screen, like I wanted it to be like another couple of episodes of like this
Yeah,
chasing. They have to
yeah,
find Buffy, like because Buffy's in hiding, and Buffy being in hiding for one episode is like okay,
yeah.
you know, it's just kind of like a throwaway for me. Where again, but I do love her like jumping up and like that Buffy like taking charge music goes on, and she's oh, but I'm in sushi, yummy sushi pajamas. There are some good parts of it where they're comic like true Buffy moments, but it just feels a little rushed.
Well, I mean, right, but that's the thing about Buffy is that even an episode that we're both like, about, there's still like moments we can pick where we're like, no, I love that. Oh, that's iconic. Like, there's still like fun spots in Buffy episodes, even if it's not a favorite.
Oh, this is I wrote this down. I'm going to turn the page before because this is really, truly important. Let me just make sure. Yep, I'm going to turn the page. You're going to hear me turn the page on my notebook because it's so 2000. Okay, so this is actually the episode where we get the iconic Spike double thumbs up GIF moment. Where
Yes.
if you look up any GIF search engine, Buffy or Spike from Buffy, this that iconic like
Yeah.
Spike thumbs up thing comes up. So we did that is very iconic. So I just have to throw that out there too. That in this episode there is that GIF.
But
You're
right though,
welcome, everyone.
that's what I mean. It's like we still, even an episode that we're both kind of like, it's like you still get good, really good. Like the character work is just always there, even in like a plotty episode that's like not the best. I think these actors, especially, I feel like by like season 2, these actors all like got it. Like they all got their
Mm.
characters really well, and they all bounce off each other really well. So yeah, yeah. Even even if my grade isn't the highest for this episode, it's still like Buffy. So like, so we open on the show does this really well, I think, where it's like Buffy's recapping to the Scoobies what happened in case, like, because back then if you missed the episode you had no idea, but there, like, it doesn't feel too much, but I like that it's like basically recapping.
Mm.
Spike, I like this version of Spike really well. I don't like when he works with Adam later, but I like this version where he's kind of just like shitty but still hanging around. Like, I like that he like drags her for her taste in men. Like,
Oh, that I oh god, if we're jumping to there, let me tell you, that part for me is like, oh my god, like Spike is reading Buffy.
right?
And but where she would have like before wanted to just like stake him or say something about staking him, she just kind of takes it. And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh. Oh, okay." But I mean, he's not wrong. I do have to say he's not wrong.
He's not. He's not. Usually, I feel like Spike is very good at the thing that Cordelia was good at, where it's like the voice of like the person that's with the group, but is being brutally honest and is kind of outside the group, but is like there.
I never like mind blown like you know what? This Xander. No, so that is something I've never really thought about. I've never thought about him being the Cordelia of the group right now. In this
Oh
moment,
yeah,
he is totally the Cordelia. Like these grapes are sour.
yes.
Like
That's
totally
why
the
I always think it's a
Cordelia.
shame. I always think it's a shame the two of them didn't share more scenes together, because I feel like those actors would have like bounced off each other really well.
I mean, yeah, same. That you literally just blew my mind. I'm everyone. I am mind blown.
You're welcome.
Thank
Uh,
you.
They think it could be Riley. They kind of don't. They kind of go back and forth. Giles says probably not. We see Adam leave the initiative. Cut to credits. Post credits, they're discussing where to hide out. It feels like, I mean, she does say, which I guess is true, that they like don't know who Xander is. Like, he doesn't go to the college, but it feels like, I kept thinking, like, shouldn't Buffy go visit her mom? Like, shouldn't she like be like, oh, make sure my mom's okay? Like, go get
Oh
her.
my god, I thought that too. And for whatever reason, I've never thought about that before until I watched it today. Like because preparing for this, I actually had to like sit down and I like wrote things down in a notebook, and I was like, Buffy, like
Right.
it reminds me very much of Faith when like next episode, um,
And I feel like
uh,
that's on purpose, right? Because they couldn't
right, right,
have,
right,
then
right,
that
right,
wouldn't have
and
landed. Yeah.
and that makes sense now though too, where it's like your mother, like your mother is by herself, and you don't think that like it's important to go be like, hey mom, like the government is after me right now. You should
You
probably
know,
hide out too, or like leave or skip town for a day or two.
go to Aunt so and so's house, like whatever.
Right. Like,
Like,
like take a day trip somewhere, like go to a spa, we're not really far from Vegas, like go gamble. Lord.
but I do like that. Like then I feel like the writers probably were like, well, we just can't have Joyce because that Faith line is really good when Faith is like,
It is
she
really
forgot all
good.
about you. And then it's even better when Buffy comes crashing through the window and is like, hi, mom. And like kicks Faith's ass. I love it.
Foreshadowing. Spoiler alert.
So she says the military won't come to Xander's place. Riley walks in. Buffy tells him Maggie tried to kill her. Didn't work, but they're upset anyway, was Anya's reply, which I love. Uh, Riley, I mean, you said it at the beginning. This is when I actually, going through it, especially this time, I was charmed by Riley until this episode. And it's
Hmm.
like he grips her up a little too much in this episode. And like,
Well, it's also like, why are like, God, like, tell me your story. No, like, I asked you first. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are you blame? Why are you even trying to put any blame of this on Buffy? Like,
right? Like,
Buffy's
why would he jump to that?
like, you literally saw on a screen where like she set a trap for Buffy, and
Yeah.
you're now turning the blame on your girlfriend who has been there for you and will always be there for you. Like, don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
she loves you.
Yeah. Yeah. That like, it really is like, the charm is like gone when he's acting like this. And like, I don't like him at all. And I feel like Buffy would have been justified after this if she was like, all right, we're done here. Peace. Like, I don't need to see you again.
Like, please do skip town, never come back.
Yeah. Again, you mentioned, but I just love Spike when he's like, and if you're trying to kill her, and then gives the like big thumbs up. It's so
It's
good.
so good. I can't get over like I've been whenever I think of Spike, I think of him and when he was like the sexiest vampire of all time or whatever. I was like, well, yes, but also one of the sassiest vampires of all
Yes.
time. I the whole Cordelia thing makes so much sense now because he acts this way even in later seasons at some
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, like they got rid of Cordelia, but they wrote Cordelia into him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so good. Like it's so good.
And I mean, I don't know how you feel about, I mean, he's hot, duh, but like later on, I do like their relationship in season 7, not in season 6. But I liked him as like a kind of frenemy. That's like my favorite version of him. Like this season and season 5, when it's like, he'll help. He's gonna be annoyed about it, but he'll help. Which also is kind of like Cordelia too, right? Like she wasn't like a fighter, but like if they needed the research, she would complain, but she'd do it, which is very
Yeah.
me.
Like in Slayerfest when she's like that's a perfect example of Cordelia helping where she needs to help and being a badass doing it and
That's
showing
like
why she was almost the Slayer.
that's like one of my favorite moments. Like I feel like, not that I do, but if I did like a drag number, I feel like I would like do it to like Buffy. Like I'd have like Buffy like monologues, but her yelling at that vampire would absolutely be one of the numbers I would do
Oh,
because
you wait. Yeah, you are going to have to come into New York City when I have this show that I'm doing, and it's Buffy themed. You must come into the city. Uh huh.
Buffy
Uh huh.
themed.
Like this is me putting out something into the universe for everyone to hear. If you're in the New York City area, make sure you pay attention. Anyway,
Hmm. We'll have to talk about that after recording. I can't believe we didn't talk about that beforehand.
not
Um,
yet.
So Riley, he refuses to accept, like you said, even though he saw on the screen, which is so annoying. He leaves. Whatever. We see Adam stumbles upon a child. The Frankenstein vibes are,
Annoyingly immaculate.
yeah, and I feel like what makes it so annoying is that then it's like this could have worked. There's a version of this that could have worked well, but not this
I
version.
mean, it's also I mean, if you look, I guess it's kind of what movie? Oh, Van Helsing, that version of like
Mm,
Frankenstein. It's kind of like, yeah, this is a child who doesn't this is an evil child who doesn't know they're
right.
evil, thinks that they're doing good in the world, which I do like that aspect of it, but it's a little dry for me even. And it's
Yeah.
a little robotic. I guess it's more like Ultron,
Mm,
which
yeah. Yeah.
I think even Ultron gave more
I was gonna say, yeah.
personality than Adam does. And I think that's what's missing. It's a very dry villain when we're so used to the Master, who's so campy, and we're so used to Spike and Drusilla, again, campy and evil
Yeah.
and like sexy. And then you're used to Angel, who's like heartbreakingly like will tear your heart out. And then you're used to the Mayor. Like the Mayor is so diabolical, but you love him. So
Yeah.
then you're handed this villain who's just so dry, and you're like, what the fuck? Like you
Yeah.
you you just killed off Maggie Walsh, who at least had the potential, like you mentioned earlier as well. But then Adam is here and is like, who? What? Like
Yeah.
this
And
is what
it's
you're gonna give
wild.
us?
It's wild that we go from like one of the worst villains to one of the best because Glory is my favorite and she's so
Oh yeah.
good. And it's just wild that like before that they had like the flattest villain and she's like so fun to watch. Like, ooh, are you gonna say you
However,
don't like Glory? Or are we gonna break up?
no, I love Glory. Don't ever get that twisted. Like, come on. Like, Glory is everything. She puts. I was gonna do a Bring It On reference, but just decided not to, just because I actually fumble it. But there is that moment of Adam where it gets like when he's talking to that child, when it goes to, I think, to commercial break, maybe right after, or switches scenes. uh but I just know that it's like that, like, oh, like this is real, like this is like evil
Yeah.
without any boundaries, like, because they don't normally go for the children except
Right.
for in a few other episodes. Like this is real. And so I mean, even in Band Candy, like, it is, when they go for the babies, it's like they make it funny
Yeah.
somehow.
Yes.
This is that moment where, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
This is scary because this is going after children.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
And so it does get real.
I think there is. I think it's in Lie to Me in the beginning. Drusilla is stalking children, but like Angel stops her, and like
Mm-hmm.
so. Yeah, we don't really, and like Gingerbread, we get them, but then it's like we find out the dead kids were demons. Like it's, yeah, we've
Mm,
never. And I don't mind it being like horror movie intense, but I felt like we just needed a better villain to like, I don't know, watch with
yeah.
him. I don't know. Yeah, you
I
saying
guess it
dry
also
really
got
like
too,
describes it.
yeah, I got too, because we're so used to the mystical side, and this didn't feel as mystical. This felt
Yeah,
very human. This felt like a serial killer.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. No,
even
I
though he
agree.
has demon parts, it felt serial killer, and that was
Yeah.
odd for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. We see in Xander's basement. Uh, I like that they're watching like Looney Tunes. It's makes me very happy. And that Buffy's like, that would never happen.
Well, I think the last time, quote me if I'm wrong, I think the last time we saw Looney Tunes was in the season 1 finale,
Might have been. I don't remember. I actually
because they're
don't
watching
remember.
Looney Tunes and they go into the one classroom, and there's like blood prints everywhere, and the vampires have
It
gotten
is a
into the school
cartoon.
and
You're
come.
right. It is a
Yeah,
cartoon with
I
the
think
blood
it's Looney
handprint.
Tunes. Yeah.
It might be. I do remember it being a
Yeah.
cartoon, but I don't remember what
So,
it
like,
was.
welcome back to the reboot of Looney Tunes on Buffy. WB, honey.
I like Cranky Giles. I like when he's shitty. I calling Anya snoring Wagnerian snoring is such a good Giles insult. Like,
Giles is known for good insults. Like, his insults are astute.
yes,
Like, all of his insults make you be like, "Wow, bitch!" Like, so I'm really close. Do you know who Miss Fame is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Miss Fame is a drag queen. She was on season 7 of Drag Race. So her husband, the
Oh,
way
I
he
definitely,
read.
yes, I've heard that name.
Okay,
Yes, I've
yeah,
heard
yeah,
that
yeah.
name.
So the way he reads people, we always say that he needs to put on his monocle. And so, like, Giles, I always feel like reads with a monocle.
Yes,
It's how I think about when he reads everyone, and you're just like, oh, like, because you don't necessarily expect him to be the one,
yes,
and then all of a sudden he pulls this thing out, and you're like, oh shit, everybody sit down.
yeah, because it's like bitchy queen mixed with like super stuffy, super literate, like. English dude, and like, yeah, it just,
Literally, the library is open.
yeah. Like
Thank you, Giles.
and Buffy mentions that she doesn't want them doing scenes from her parents' marriage, which I like. And then, as you mentioned, she gets up, gives her speech, and then is like, "Oh, this would have been better if I wasn't wearing my yummy sushi pajamas."
But
Which
it's also,
did you see that SMG posted a picture in her yummy sushi pajamas just the Sunday before the revival news broke?
I didn't. I'm so sad because I actually, okay.
Wait, I'm gonna text
Do
it
you
to
want to
you.
talk about this now, or do we want to talk about the reboot later? Let's
Uh,
wait till later. Let's wait till
yeah,
later
let's wait
because
till later.
yeah, because I could go on for hours about this. So let's okay. So the I need to. Are you gonna show me? Are you
I'm
gonna show
texting you
me?
a picture. Yes, I'm not
Oh,
looking at
okay,
my phone.
where
I promise.
I'm gonna look. I was like, okay, this is fierce because I mean,
Riley.
I listen. I am a huge SMG fan. I always said if I meet her, I don't fangirl over many people. I've worked with celebrities, like all of this. There are very few that I fangirl over. I think I would lose my shit if I met Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I often think that because I've had a lot of celebrities on this podcast, and like, I worked at BuzzFeed, whatever, and just living in New York, you run into people. But like, I do wonder if I would be able to keep my composure with. Like, I don't know that I would if it were her.
Oh, she is in it.
Oh, you found it first. All right, I don't even need
Yeah,
to text
yeah,
it to
yeah.
you.
I'm obsessed. Okay, quick side note. Her lockdown pandemic, like Instagram was fire, and I laughed. I don't even drink, but her drinking post, like every time the kid screams or whatever, take a sip. I'm like this. I love you. I love you. Like you are
I
so
think
funny
she
to me.
she comes off as like really nice and charming.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I actually met someone because I do Broadway Bears every year. That's the shirt. And there was somebody who actually worked on Buffy. She was a PA or something on Buffy for quite some time. I forget exactly. She has the Buffy like track jackets and hats and all of
Oh,
that.
cool.
She has photos with Sarah Michelle Gellar from back in the day, and she said that she absolutely loves Sarah.
I have gotten the impression that all the behind the scenes people like adored her. Like the costume designer, there was one costume designer for most of the show, and then season 7 it was this woman Cynthia Bergstrom, and then in season 7 she had left, and it was a gay man named Matt Van Dyne. He like had nothing but love to speak about with her. Like he'd be like, it was fun dressing her, like she looked good in everything, and that she would be hands-on with it, but not in like an annoying takeover way, but like he would like her input, and she was like always down to give it. And I just like, they created her final outfit together. Like he built that jacket for her that she wears
Oh
in the finale,
wow,
and like he asked her what she thought about it, and like he has like, she, as like a thank you, she like asked him for the like drawing he did, and like signed it and wrote a really kind message to him, and like gave it back to him as like a little,
that's
yeah,
really cute.
yeah,
I'm a little obsessed with
um
that.
yeah. But okay,
Speaking
so
of cute, let's go talk about Adam slaughtering a child.
God. Riley and Forrest go to have a talk. He tells Forrest that Mommy Walsh definitely tried to kill Buffy. And Forrest immediately is like, well, there probably was a reason she tried to kill Buffy. And it's like, why are we like,
Oh, Forrest hates Buffy. Like Forrest is that friend who, the second that you have any type of happiness in a relationship, they want to tear it down because of jealousy. Like he is so attached to his friends and like that bromance of it all that like the second I like remember when they were like he got to go off and have his own like whatever they call it like unit when they were out and
oh, yeah,
like it
yeah.
was Riley and Buffy and like he was so mad like he couldn't accept the fact that a woman was like stepping in and I'm like girl like be happy for your friend be supportive stop being a dick
See,
like
I
don't be a
think
dick.
you're more correct. I always thought it was like he had secret feelings for Riley, and that's why he gets so jealous. But I think maybe you're
Oh,
right. It's like maybe he's just one of those friends that's like,
now
get your
listen,
happiness
i
out of my
i
face.
would watch that. I would really watch that Randy Blue scene. Like I
Oh,
would
oh,
totally get into it.
absolutely.
Like
And I'm not even to
on
pretend
duty.
I didn't read like fan fiction about that back in the day.
Are you serious?
Oh, I did, yeah.
I need to Google this because like that is listen, I am a huge Buffy freak. Like I love Buffy, but I've never seen that fan fiction and I need to. And if oh god, okay, well, okay. Um I'm
Wait,
flustered
so
now.
I reference this a lot because it's like the one that I remember the most, where it's like Xander has sex with all of the men, and it takes place in season 5, and it's like he has sex with Oz and his band, and the end is he has sex with Riley Forrest and Graham. It's like,
I mean, also, can I just say Graham? No, but it is one of those. I mean, I would want, if it's gonna be any Xander, it'd have to be like Xander season.
I
I
think
mean, I
this
guess he's,
season, I think this
yeah, I
season
was
he
gonna say
was,
season 4.
yeah,
Yeah, Xander season 4 is pretty great.
yeah,
Yeah, work.
yeah. I think 4 and like a little bit of 5, but 4 I think is when he looks the hottest. He like
Yeah,
filled out a
same.
little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, where are we? Um, oh, then Graham comes in to let them know that Maggie's dead. They go to the scene. Him and Forrest like puff their chests at each other, and Forrest again is like, "Was Buffy? She had to have killed her." And it's like, we're really putting a lot on Buffy here. Like,
I mean, it also plays into the entire theme of the series too, about
right?
like take down the women kind of thing. Like, it is that patriarchal thing where, and and he is threatened by a woman,
Yeah. Hmm.
and so
Yes.
it like as it pertains to current events, it is very real that men feel a certain way about powerful women,
Yeah.
and there is a sense of jealousy and they're threatened. So that's very his vibe. That is very Forrest's vibe. And you have Graham over there being like, okay, like all of you just chill out. Like can we just
He's
like
really
go
just
about our
like,
business? Can we figure out what happened?
yeah.
Can you all like break it up? Like our mother is dead.
Yeah.
Break it up, kids.
He's just like, guys,
Awkward.
but also I agree. He's maybe the hottest of them. They're all hot, but I think he maybe does it.
I think
He
it's
has
because
very
he's cool, calm, and collected, and I
yeah.
like that because I need it. They say opposites attract.
Yes.
Work.
So then where do we go? The doctor tells them like, oh, and don't do anything till the military arrives. Riley's like, no, we're gonna find out. We see them raiding Spike's crypt. Um, we see Buffy goes to Willie's, or no, Buffy first. First, Buffy goes to see Riley, and he gets really shitty with her in the desert, which is what a sentence. Um, when he's like, "Well, you should be happy. Maggie's dead now."
But also, why is Buffy? And this is I've always asked this question of myself, and I hear about it all the time whenever I've listened to even like YouTube videos, anything. Buffy is always at crime scenes, always. Like, why is she not a suspect at every crime? The only one that she's a suspect at in any crime scene is when Drusilla kills Kendra.
Yeah,
Like, that's the only time she's ever accused of it, really. And you're just like, but there's so many other times when she should have been like questioned why she's at a crime scene. It's kind of that thing of like real life serial killers liking to be around crime scenes, but they're never picked up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
It really,
Buffy,
you're right.
stay
It
away
really
from the
is.
crime scenes. Stay away from the crime scenes.
I thought you were going to mention the thing that people usually mention, which is the what temperature is it in Sunnydale? Because like,
Oh, well, that's true too. Like that's true too, because she's always in every episode. She's like in like a turtleneck and like a giant coat in the
yeah,
desert, and you're like, girl, come on now.
both costume designers told me that Sarah Michelle Gellar was always cold, so they always added a jacket to any outfit she was going to be wearing outside.
Makes sense, and she's also tiny, so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I was gonna say she's like super small, so I feel like. Then she goes to Willie's. And this. Give me your hot takes on this
I
scene.
love Willie's place. I love the idea that he now has a fryer, so there's chicken fingers and they're popular. Like I love, like Willie is, even though he's like that slimy like person, like he's also so charming, and you're like, oh, like Willie could do no wrong, like
I really like
and
him.
except unless you pay him enough money, he won't do anything wrong, or if he thinks you're gonna punch him in the face. But that is that I do love Willie's place. I do like how he's like, I can't give you information. Nope, no information. Now punch me, but make it look good. And then he fakes it, and then she's like, let me just actually punch you. And I do love Willie's place. And is it okay if I talk about the Riley entrance?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay, so Riley going into that place and like, I mean, for me, it's like it's so aggressive, and I don't like this Riley. Like
yeah.
this is the Riley, like this is abusive boyfriend Riley. This, and obviously what's happening in his nervous system is not
Right.
good, but like this is not the Riley like that I like.
Yes.
And him getting aggressive with Buffy does not sit right with me. And I'm like, get your hands off of her.
Right, because he,
Like
like, grips her up, yeah.
like, stop threatening these are the demons that what we know are the innocent demons in here. Like, probably some of them aren't, but, like, Buffy doesn't fuck with this because this is their one place to go. This is, like, their version of, like, somebody going to their safe space like a church,
Right, yeah.
where Buffy's like, "I won't fuck with you here, but you walk outside, and I will." But
Yes.
I don't I really I love the grounding anger part of it being Willie's and us feeling happy about that. I don't like the way that Riley disrespects the space.
And, like, the thing that, like, they're driving home here is Buffy is so much better at navigating the dynamics of, like, the demon world than these, like, army bros are, right? Like you said, she knows that she goes in there, she's not fucking up Willie's bar, she's not fighting the demons in there. She's like, "This is your space. Outside, if I catch you, like, doing something, then you're dead, but, like, we're
Again,
good."
a parallel of like of people knowing that this safe space is for these people like leave their safe spaces alone, but the government comes in thinking they know better.
Yep. It's funny when we were going through season 6, I was like, "Wow, this season is becoming the most relevant season," but now it's like, well,
Well, this is really on the nose of the government.
it really is.
Oh, too
So
real.
he pulls out a gun on a little old lady who maybe is or isn't a demon.
But she's
Not
also
great.
crying,
I
like she's also
know.
whimpering, like if she was like a hardcore demon she'd like mess you up.
She like fucking eat him at that point, right?
Yeah, like detach the jaw and just clomp down.
Yeah, don't love it, don't love it. But I did notice in the scene when him and Farce are arguing, I was like, Mark Lucas out of breath, and then I realized, oh, we're doing that because it's like his like breathing is a little like hitched sometimes because of whatever's happening with the shit shoe.
Yeah, and like you can see he's a little clammy.
Yeah, yeah.
A little clammy.
So I'm trying to be a little bit more forgiving, being like, oh, he's like going through withdrawals and stuff, but I don't know,
Well,
right?
it's also difficult too because again, going through it another time, I go through it at least once a year. But going through it another time, every time it's like, but you know it's coming, so you're kind of like, it's unforgivable at this point,
Yeah.
and it sucks
Yeah.
knowing that. But it's also, I mean, it's from the beginning of the episode though, like he's not proving to be trustworthy or be the good boyfriend in this episode
That we thought
from
he
the very
was, or that
start.
she thought he was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks because I mean, even before she's like, "Well, I thought he was going to be this boring guy, and we were going to hold hands and skip and say tra la la." Like it's you think he's going to be that guy, even up until like mid last episode,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so for it to come crashing down so quick, you're like, "Oh, red flags are here." And I just this whole scene for me is like I in the beginning of it, you think it's just going to be a simple scene, and then it turned into something so dark so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, anyway, I love this. Love that we're at Willie's place, but Riley, girl.
Fun fact, this is Willie's last appearance on the show. So weird, right? We see his bar again, but he's not there.
I was gonna say, I was like, is it? Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
I
Oh my.
I always wonder if that's because like the actor wasn't, because why wouldn't they just have Willie there if they're at his bar? I feel like the actor probably wasn't available or something.
Right. Or maybe he was murdered by a vampire. Who knows?
True. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
She takes Riley back to Xander's. She decides that they want to find out what is it, like what he was given or something like that, whatever is like affecting him. I like that you're consulting your notes. I am very charmed that you literally have a notebook that you can look down and like flip the pages on. I think one of my co-hosts, Kim, who is my best friend, who has a PhD, is the only other person who has come on this podcast with written notes.
I love written notes. Okay, so I feel like other than when you're typing it, because I feel like when you write out notes, you remember it better.
That's fair.
Like I feel that because you're doing instead of just typing, you're like you're stroking the letter, and it just feels like I'm remembering. No, and I'm looking down at it because I was just like, oh, I wanna enter. I wanna participate.
No, I'm like really charmed by it.
Aw, thank you.
They sent me a photo of their notebook of notes, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this."
I just like it. I like that you can hear me turning the page on the microphone too.
It really does feel like very like Buffy. Like you're the like watcher doing the research.
You know, because those computers, those things that Giles doesn't understand.
What does he call them?
Um,
Idiot box? Doesn't he say idiot box? I think he likes
yeah,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So take the use your top voice. Tell me what's next.
Oh, and oh, we're doing the at Xander's with Riley.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
I mean, I like that she like is in this scene. She's very um nurturing. Like she's
yeah.
she's she's the Buffy that we love to see her be with Riley, and he's actually accepting it at this point. And I like that he
Finally,
softens and like lets her comfort him
yeah,
because it then reminds us like, oh, Buffy, like he is this like really lovable, vulnerable person.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I do like that it returns us to that after that intense scene we just had. But also like, what the fuck is happening with Riley?
Right.
It's I do like that she becomes nurturing again though. I like the softness. It does this is like I hate him. Oh,
Yeah, I and
they're cute.
Buffy, right, that's why we love Buffy and she's our hero. She like it's very her, right? That even though he just like really did something terrible and like really fucking pissed her off, she's still like, "Come on, I'm going to take care of you. Let's go home." It's almost like this is like her like drunk friend at the bar that she like yelled at her and she's like, "All right, well, let's go home now. Drink some
Yeah,
water, like lay down."
cool
Um
off a little bit.
yeah, she decides that her and Xander are gonna go break into the well, not break in, just go because she has clearance still to the initiative. Um, I love her disguise. His disguise is like, yeah, that makes sense, but
It's
her
pretty
right?
basic.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm also a turtleneck freak.
Oh,
Like
really?
my friend. Okay, so not my friend, my ex lover from last year. Which, by the way, I made him watch episodes of Buffy sometimes when he would come over. Literally, the first time that I asked him, we were in my bed, and um, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to like order food and watch TV, watch something?" He's like, "Sure." And I turned on Buffy. He didn't mind. Like he's seen a couple episodes, but it's that's literally me. And that same ex lover used to be like, "Oh, you wear turtlenecks all the time." And then when it got cold outside, and he's like, "Oh," I was like, "No, I literally have like three black turtlenecks, the same one."
I love that. I mean, I've never seen you post a turtleneck, so I would have never have thought that you like turtlenecks.
Do you see this long neck? I'm practically Littlefoot, okay? Like I love a turtleneck. And if you put a nice little choker with it, so Buffy, go off with this like what is it, like maroon or like a burgundy like
Something like that.
turtleneck
Yeah.
and like the glasses and the lab coat, like that is totally an outfit I would wear. Like Buffy, that outfit is like top tier. I that need that okay, yes. That is a toot.
But I
She walked
just
down that runway,
she did like I just like that this is her like smart doctor drag where she's like, "Ooh, put on glasses. Ooh, I'll put my hair up. There you go. We're good."
and have a clipboard.
Yeah.
And pretend to be writing. Like it is a really like I love it. It's like, come on, girl, you won that acting challenge. It is so good. Like,
And I love it when they walk in and when like people walk by them when Xander's like, "We have to pretend to kiss." And she's like, "What are you doing?" No, like she's just
this is your
like
chance, Sander. This is your one and only chance. Like, like I know you got a chance with the other Slayer, but this is your chance with the Slayer.
and I do love when Xander's like, "I get it. I want to have sex with Riley too." I was like, mm,
We all
mm,
understand. Like
yeah.
that was definitely a note for all of the watchers back in the day, being like, girl, we all feel that very same way.
We all got it. We then see you just mentioned Riley had a good scene, and then we get a not great scene when he wakes up and he like argues
Mm.
with Willow and fucking like throws her. Like,
It's kind of giving roid rage.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not kind of, really is. Like
yeah,
it's very much like he's been pumped with all of these chemicals and now they're not stabilized and oh god, roid rage.
yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah,
And it sucks because also like Willow's such like this lovely dainty character where it's like, why the fuck are you fucking with Willow?
like of all people to like he literally, if he
You
needed
could
to
have pushed
like
past her.
right, just yeah, exactly. He could have just like moved beyond her. Like he is a big man. Like
He could literally like not throw her across the room. Like, don't throw Willow. Willow's been through enough.
I did like that we hear Giles yell at him. I was like, Yes, defend
Yeah,
him,
put
Dad.
him in his
Defend her,
place, but
Dad.
also,
Yeah.
like, make sure he doesn't do the same to you.
Yeah, like, make sure he doesn't beat up you and Anya too.
Yeah, please don't. Anya's like, "No, no, no.
Yeah,
Take
Anya's
him."
like sitting on the couch, like, crazy.
It's like Andrew with a human shield.
Yeah. We see Spike goes into Willie's and gets knocked out. We later learn why. Um, so Dr. Buffy encounters, they like run into this Dr. Engelman dude who's like Maggie's right hand man or whatever. And he does inform Buffy that yes, Maggie tried to kill you. It was a personal vendetta. It wasn't like any order from the government or whatever. Um, and then Riley gets mad at him for admitting that. And I'm like, but again, you're right. It's like he's basically having roid rage, like for a long period of time. Um, because I'm like, because I think he says, I wrote like, he says something like, "Oh, you want Maggie to look bad," and it's what,
Maggie made her own damn self look bad.
like, yeah,
Like, don't blame her. Don't blame someone else for like someone else's
he's like,
shitty behavior.
yeah, he's literally blaming the messenger, and like you mentioned, he saw Buffy on that screen say that she knew Maggie tried. So why is it like it's just
Like, stop gaslighting everyone.
yeah?
Like,
He's
this
like,
is your girlfriend. Like, she has done nothing but stay by your side, including after you were a complete and total dick to her, and now you're blaming her again?
your wonderful, gorgeous, hot, tough girlfriend. Like
That could literally beat your ass.
she could throw you across the room, sir.
Right.
Like,
Like, come on. Like,
yeah. So he then grips Buffy up again. And that's when she's like getting annoyed at him. And the one thing that I do like, as you mentioned, you can see that Buffy is like, this is not a threat to her because she knows she could kick his ass. She's more just like annoyed with how he's acting. But like, she's not threatened because she absolutely could knock him out very easily if she
get your
wanted
hands off of me.
to. Yeah. Like,
Like, do not touch me. You've had it pretty easy. I held my punches even when we were training together.
she has
Like,
like been very good about his stupid ego. Like, so I do like that. Then she's like, "We need to find out what's in 314." Enter Adam, and he says, "Me." I do think that's a good entrance.
oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Adam then really like kicks the shit out of all of them.
Yeah, literally. I it does it deems doomsday for Buffy because Buffy's used to being able to stop everything, and this is like one
Yeah,
of those moments of like, oh, he's really strong,
because he like throws
and
her across the room pretty easily.
yeah, like what am I gonna do? And like because I think the only time that she's really felt that way before. I mean with the one Sunday, the one Vampire Sunday. God, she was gone too soon. But I feel like Glory is the only
Yeah,
time that
yeah,
she really feel
and
until this.
she hasn't seen that yet. She hasn't like encountered that yet. So like,
Right.
yeah, this is like the first time we're seeing someone kind of like stronger or as strong.
Yeah, definitely can put her down.
Yeah, yeah. He kills the other doctor because sure. It's just
Sucks.
weird. It's like I don't know. At least this is a guy we put him in charge. Like,
I feel
sure.
like I'm turning my page back really quick. Okay, so I was looking, and that doctor Neil Daly, he was also in the movie Brink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, random, right? And then he was also in Melrose Place.
I don't
I
remember
know. Look, see, like you said Brink. You're like, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, I've seen it. But then I say Melrose Place. You're like, ooh.
that. Did he live in the like apartment?
I don't remember that. I just remember him from Melrose Place.
Oh, huh.
I was very young.
I mean,
I
I
wasn't.
was. I'm a sexy baby.
I know. I wasn't really interested in Melrose Place the way that I was in 90210, and which I was still too young for.
Because I've always been that guy. It was like Melrose Place is the cooler one. Like 90210 is what everyone
I
likes.
think I need to go back and watch them again after I'm done watching through Buffy again.
Honestly, I could barely tell you anything about. I just remember when Marsha Cross takes off her wig. That was a reveal. She has like a scar on her head because she's like, I think, trying to kill someone. And when Melrose Place blew up, that was like a big deal for me. And that Kristen Davis from Sex and the City is like one of the only characters that dies and then plays a ghost in 2 episodes.
Oh wow! I only remember what the door frames of the house looks like.
That's a very weird thing to remember, JMV.
and Locklear.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. uh,
yeah.
so he kicks the shit out of everyone. He kills Dr. Engelman. He also stabs Riley. Wait, no, I need to mention this. I jumped ahead. I love the silly gag of like he's like Riley Finn pulls out a floppy disk and puts it in the like disk drive in his
Oh my
chest.
god. It is so awkward. You know what it kind of reminds me of? And I was just watching this the other night. You know
Mm.
Wild Robot? Did you watch the new movie Wild Robot, the
Oh,
animated
okay, yeah,
movie?
newer one. Okay, yeah, no, I
So
haven't
where it's
seen it,
like
but I
that,
know
like
it.
that, like that, like learning where it takes out the disc and puts it in,
I didn't know. I haven't seen it, but I do know the movie.
or like Baymax in Big
Okay,
Hero
yeah, yeah, yeah.
6, where he does all those training chips and such.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very that.
But I love this like a fucking floppy disk.
I know floppy disk. Come on, floppy disk.
We cleaned out. Side note: cleaned out my dad's storage unit this summer. This summer, and he had kept all of his like work files in there, and I was like, so and like at the storage unit, you can't throw it away there, right? So you have to like bring it somewhere. So we're piling his shit in my car, and I was like, this is a Rubbermaid container full of floppy disks. What would he possibly ever be able to even do with these? I was
That
like,
is so everyone. If you don't know what a floppy disk is, it is like a square disk that you used to put into a tower, which sat next to your computer. That was the size of like two or three shoe boxes. It it it. It's a much different technological time for sure. So like Adam was advanced even though he still used floppy
yes,
disks.
the height of technology.
My god, bring floppy disks back, please.
Jesus Christ. Adam leaves as the other army dudes finally break down the door. So conveniently that they did not see Adam. Forrest immediately is like fucking so rude with Buffy for no reason. Like, it feels like at this point he should be like, well, I know she can help. Like, but no, he tells her to get
No,
out.
no,
No.
no. It is very like it's like, dude, sorry if people you can hear people outside because it's I'm in New York City by everyone. But it is very much like, dude, like clearly clearly Buffy is sitting here like trying to help everyone, and you are a shithead that continues to like put blame on her instead of being like, wow, you actually might have saved everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Forrest, get out of here.
so annoying.
God, go to therapy, please. Get a therapist.
So Xander tells Buffy he's kind of like, yeah, let's go. We see Spike get thrown out of Willie's because he's fighting demons.
What is up with them? Like, what is up with everyone like beating up on Spike in all these different seasons, and us just feeling like, yes, he's supposed to be this bad guy, this villain, that like an arch nemesis, but we're always like, oh, Spiky.
Right? Yes. We then end on Buffy and Willow kind of recapping, which I'm realizing we didn't talk about because it's such a quick scene. Willow and
Hmm.
Tara doing their spell.
I was thinking about this because I have it in my notes. um, yeah, no, they do a spell. Continue. Sorry.
Well, I remember for the longest time, I think I had, you know how, like, I mean, because back in the day, if you didn't tape it on a VHS tape, you missed it forever. Who knew when you would see it again? I remember never knowing, like, I think I must have missed Family because the episode Family, when, like, you find out why she threw the thing to, like, mess up the spell. And I remember for the longest time being like, so was Tara bad? Like, what? Why did we ever know? Maybe then later find out. But I do like that the show would do shit like this, where it's like, that'll pay off next season and it's such a little thing, but I like when
Oh,
they
I definitely I remember watching this and being like, "What the fuck is why is she acting so shady? Like that bitch is shady. Like what's happening? Like why is she not allowing them to summon the goddess Thespia? Like
right.
why?" And I just it's like, oh,
Yeah.
because she wants to go clam diving. Like that's literally what it is, and I'm just like, work. Like I love it. Like I not in the moment. I because I'm you're curious. Like girl, you're sus. Like you're really sus. Like are you gonna keep this stuff for yourself later? Do your own spells? Like I'm confused. Like are you just are you a huge klepto? Like I'm confused. But I do also like because there is that moment where before they actually do the spell, they flirt.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh," like, her, like, it's all in her body language towards Willow, and you're like, "Oh." Like, I mean, we all know they're lesbians. Like, it's like, at this point, like, you kind of you're catching on, but you're like, "Why is she being shady?"
I have a question for you that I asked a lot of people because I'm always curious what they think. And I did ask Jane Espenson her thoughts. But do you think were they just being flirty and the spell would get sexy? Because clearly, yeah, no, the spells are always metaphors for like for them having sex. But do you think it was like they would do a spell, get all like sweaty, and then probably fuck? Or do you think they were being like pure and waiting and it was just like the spells happened to be sexy?
I mean, okay. I this is a really interesting question. So, I think that this I mean, I no, no, I think they get worked up over the sexiness of the magic because it's kind of like, I mean, this is so stupid, but I always said, like, if I'm gonna go to the gym and I wanna, like, watch the person that I'm dating work out and get all turned on. So maybe it's the similar thing of, like, them doing
Mm.
the spells and getting turned on by each other, then they when the camera's not rolling kind of thing, like, they're fucking. But, that's kinda how I take
That's what
it.
Jane Espenson said, I'll have you know, the writer.
Oh,
She did say that she was like, "I take it as, like, the spell is still the spell, and then after they would hook up."
well, because I think when it comes to, like, what turns someone on,
Right,
like,
yeah.
for me, it's like, again, it's like seeing their body work at the gym, or like, with my ex lover, like, we went to go see the Eras tour at AMC,
Okay.
and the way he watched me watch this concert on a screen, the way that I dissected everything, that, like, things that I were leaning over and saying to him, he was so turned on by
Hmm.
the way my brain worked that afterward we went home and we did what Willow and Tara would do.
He did a spell.
We did
Um,
we did a spell.
I that's funny because I've actually had I mean, I've also had the opposite, but I've had guys like say that they like are very into how nerdy I am because like of how much I love like Buffy and X-Men. I've had like guys like kind of say what you said, your ex-lover said, like, oh no, it's like a turn on that you because you love it so much and you can like talk about it so like passionately and blah blah blah. I mean, I've also had guys be like, it's a turn off how nerdy you are.
I
So
mean,
I
yes, of course, because they're just aren't in touch with the nerdiness and they just don't get it. I had somebody once say, and this was about his husband. He said, "I don't like what he's into at all. I absolutely, it just has no interest to me. What it is how much he loves it and how passionate he is.
mm,
That's what makes me love it for him
that's
and
fair.
love him more." And I was like,
That's
"This
fair.
work." So, like, so I agree with the writer, that, like, they get worked up over seeing each other's talent.
You know what? That makes sense. It really
And
does.
obviously they're sitting there cross-legged, so their legs are open, and obviously they're just looking at each other the entire time. I know when I'm sitting across somebody on the train or at the gym, I get worked up too.
They're like, girls, I get it.
I get it.
uh,
Pheromones, hello.
so we end the episode. There is literally no trivia for this. The only trivia I had is this is Willie's last episode. Normally, this is where I say some trivia. These mid season 4 episodes do not have a lot. Um, JMV, what do you think Dawn would have been doing if she were in this episode?
Oh my god. Well, okay, so this is the easy one for me. This is
Okay.
so easy because they completely forget about Joyce in this episode. So what are they doing? I don't know. She probably took Dawn to the mall. Like, they're probably doing their book club, the
Fair,
Joyce
fair.
and Dawn book club, like, that Buffy gets jealous about. Or, well, because it's also, it is so real where it's like, Dawn Dawn would have been so young at that time, and she was already not involved in Buffy's slaying yet when she's introduced. So I don't really think, and this is me getting, like, you want the fun answer, but I'm getting, like, my real, like logistical answer, that she probably wouldn't have involved in this point yet. Like,
All right.
she would have been at home, I think, studying, and she'd have been like, I want to go out with Buffy, but she would have been too young to sneak out at this point because she wasn't really the rebellious ish teen yet.
So
She would have been annoying.
So my answer is I think she would have been in Xander's basement and she would have like gladly been like giving Riley water and bringing him like a towel if he needed it and like crushed on
Oh,
him.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. Okay, work.
I always
Okay.
feel like she would have crushed on all of Buffy's boyfriends, and Cordelia and Faith would have been cool to her until Faith like beat up her sister. Then she wouldn't have thought she was cool anymore.
Oh,
But
of
I think
course.
like Cordelia and Faith would have been like the cool girls to her.
Yeah, I think so too because Cordelia is the popular girl in school. But this is where I go back to in the next episode when she's like, "Well, you haven't been home in a while, sweetie."
Yeah.
Like, so that's where I'm like, oh, she would have been in the they would have been having the Buffy, the Dawn and Joyce book club.
I also like the idea of Dawn being there with Joyce like tied up on the bed next to her. Like, ooh, did she like punch that like 13-year-old?
I mean, the answer is yes.
Yes,
Survey
right.
says
Yeah.
Warren locked her in the basement.
True, true.
You know, before it flooded.
I feel like Faith also would have been extra annoyed at like Dawn screaming. Like that would have
Oh
been
yeah,
funny.
Dawn would be dead. Just saying, if Dawn were, I'm gonna give a foreshadowing for the next episode. Whoever your guest is, but Dawn would be dead in the next episode. Like Dawn would not exist. She'd be reincarnated as the key, but she would not actually be there.
And what was your favorite outfit? I think I know the answer already.
I mean, it is definitely the doctor outfit, but if I want to play dumb, I will say the sushi pajamas are pretty. The yummy sushi pajamas are pretty good. What about you?
Why did you say plain dumb that it has to be the sushi? That's what my answer is.
Oh, work, because it's fun. I mean, can I also mention something like about Buffy's last, the last, like when they're walking at the end when her and
Mm,
Willow are walking, that last outfit. Whenever Buffy's in something so oversized, it is very reminiscent of like she needs to be cozy and
yep.
comfortable because of whatever's happening, and it also does such a good job of setting up for what's literally about to happen. Like I forget exactly what the line is. I don't know if I wrote it down, but like it's like, oh, here it is. Like because he's like looking at that scarf and
Yeah.
he's like so intently, like he's got a part of Buffy with him, but it's like he's looking at that scarf so intently and like they feel that love for each other, for then it's all gonna get like fucking
Yeah.
pulled to shreds and like shredded in the next episode. And it's again where it's going to be that. But I do like the oversized pink sweater, but it is a very comforting thing for her, where and it is that like she's getting comforted by this sweater holding herself while he's holding this scarf of hers.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They're really good at like, oh, Buffy's a little sad, so she's gonna wear like a cozy, oversized, like in Helpless when she's wearing those like overalls that are like also a little bit ill-fitting, but it's like because she's sad. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's not putting in the effort. She's like, I just want to throw something on and feel frumpy
Yeah, yeah,
because I
because like
feel frumpy.
yeah, I was gonna say she feels that way, so she wants to dress that way. Yeah.
I think I
Uh,
learned the word frumpy from Buffy, by the way.
isn't it funny? I always say Buffy taught me like a lot of words growing up.
Frumpy is one of those words.
Incorporeal was a word I thought they made up in season 7 until I like then later learned it was a real word.
And you use it in everyday life now.
Well,
Like you
duh,
use it
yeah.
at least 2 or 3 times a day. Not for work, just in life.
What was your favorite scene?
Okay, so because of this episode and how dark it is, those little glimmers of, uh, I think it would have to be either the first half of Willie's Place because it's so grounding, or I would say the first scene, bef- like right before Spike leaves,
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
because very
Um,
Buffy. It's very Buffy.
yeah. This show, I feel like any scene where they're all together,
Hmm.
they always do a really good job of like still giving everyone time. Like it doesn't feel like overcrowded, even though there are like 6 people squished into this like Giles's apartment. It never like everyone works and like yeah. My favorite scene is the yummy sushi pajamas scene because I love
Hmm.
Giles coming out to like be shitty with Anya, Buffy being like, "You remind me of my parents," and then getting up, giving the speech, and being like, "Oh, I'm wearing pajamas." Like I just all of
It
it.
is a very good banter scene.
Yeah, and to your point, it feels very Buffy like that. Like the initiative stuff sometimes doesn't feel super Buffy, right? But like when we get these scenes between them, like that feels very Buffy.
Yeah, totally.
All right, what grade do you give this episode?
Should be nice.
I'm usually more than fair. I'm not that fair with this episode.
I'm gonna give it. either a B minus or a C plus.
Look, we have the exact same grade.
Are you serious?
Hmm. I was
I
on the
love it.
border. I put like both slash. I do that all the time because it's like it's not that great of an episode, but like in the realm of like TV episodes, it's not like terrible. Like it's still Buffy, so it's like how much time
Yeah.
Shigella as Buffy do anything,
I mean, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. She can do no wrong. Come on,
right?
Catherine.
Right.
Um, okay. So I have to. Okay, continue. Sorry, I'm very excited to talk about the reboot with you.
do we? Do you? Do you want to give a quick thought about it before I close out this episode? Do you want to talk about it in the episode? Do you want to talk about it after recording?
I want to talk about it in the episode.
Okay. All right. Give me your
Okay, because
thoughts.
I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you're a Buffy nerd. So I'm that person that I take Buffy, like a person through Buffy whenever I can. My roommates
Yeah.
actually laugh about it. Like my one roommate Ellen will be like, but can we not watch Buffy? Like like it's actually really funny because they all there's this the running thing around the apartment that I just watch Buffy, which is so true. So I like I tried taking Alaska through it on the tour bus. Like I took tried taking my ex through it. Like I took another ex through it. I was taking my friend Matthew through it, my other friend Pete. Like it's my thing. Like it can do no wrong. I have an erg arg t-shirt that I should have worn to record this. Like it is, I'm that one. So I'm really excited about this reboot. There's been talks of reboots for years. There's like different ways that they could go about it, and I was like, no, that's not right. Like that's not like you have to stay in the true nature of Buffy. If you're going to do a spin-off, it's different than if you're using the name Buffy
Yeah.
because it is such an iconic thing. And if you're going to redo it also, reboot it, whatever, like it's hard to bring in another actress. It's kind of like Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. Like you have to
Like he
eh,
is. Yeah.
yeah, like it's so ingrained in our culture. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar is Buffy.
Yeah.
So for them to reboot it, like for her to come back and say yes is really exciting to me because she's like, it has to be perfect. Like it has to be something that everyone's going to love. I have to love it. I
Yes.
have to feel authentically Buffy to
And
do
I
it.
trust her. Don't you trust her with like I do trust her with that.
I do, and I think like people are concerned that Joss Whedon's not going to be on it, but I was like, but you also have the lead actress who's promising that this is going to be what we want it to be. My sister hates the idea.
Oh really?
She's absolutely against it, and I was like, well, I'll watch it for us, and I'll let you know.
Your sister's one of the people that tagged me in their negative posts.
Oh my god, those fan groups, I'll tell you what, those fan groups on Facebook, I can't like I
Oof.
can't, but the back and forth of it all of like leave it alone. I'm like, no, do it because it's also something we all need a superhero right now. Like the if an apocalypse comes, beat me. Well, this is the apocalypse,
Like
baby, and
beep
we
beep.
need Buffy. We need a
Yeah.
superhero. What about you? What are you like? Because I want to know. Like, I feel like you would be excited, but I want to know like why are you excited?
I'm excited because I trust Sarah Michelle Gellar, and there's no way she hasn't been pitched this 8,000 fucking times and said no every other time. Like
Mm.
this, there's no way this is the first time she was pitched it because I don't know if you remember back in right before, I think the year before the pandemic, I think there was going to be a revival. I had lunch with the showrunner. She has been on a few times. The last time she was on, she said that basically they just stopped talking about it. Like there was no, it was like she did have to work with Joss Whedon on like character, like she would have to like he would give a pass to like what she would write. And she said it was just like if you had a really good date and then that person just never called you again, which sucks.
Oh, the ghosting, that sucks.
Yeah. And she said that which I've heard is the same with this, that it was a little bit early of an announcement. Like they didn't tell her they were announcing it, and she was like in the process of writing, and she was like, "What?" Which seems like really bad tactic, right?
I mean, it does, but it's also like get the fans excited.
Yeah,
Like I know everyone that I've talked to personally, other than my sister, is like, yes, yes, yes. All
yeah.
the gays are like, please give it to us. This is what we want. We
And
need good TV.
I think so. Actually, I'm gonna send you. We did the actual new episode in our feed because I'm on a break, kind of. We
Mm.
did an episode on the revival, and it's like an hour and a half of us just like excitedly talking about it. But I think the reason this can work better as well, which someone left me a YouTube comment saying every one of my ideas were are very bad for like requel, revival, reboots, and if they take my ideas, it'll be shit. I think the best way to do these kind of things is she would not be the main unless it's like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer show. Like I think it's better to have a new Slayer, which is
I
what
mean,
they
there's thousands of them.
right. And like I think that makes more sense for it to be like, all right, Buffy sees this one girl and she's taking her under her wing, or like, I just think that's the best way to do it.
Like Iron Man with Spider Man.
Yes, yeah. Like I or like, are you a Scream girl like me?
I mean, yes, of course.
I thought in 5 the way they like had Courtney Cox and Ev Campbell there, but they introduced all these other characters, like something like that for me really works.
That yeah, that's a really good one.
Because like I don't know, I think other like the Halloween trilogy wasn't that good, and Laurie
No,
Strode
it
was the main
wasn't.
character.
But Scream is iconic.
Yeah, and like
I like how they do it, and it keeps people going back. People are interested, even without Nev Campbell in it. People are interested.
yeah, yeah, and I
Um,
just for
I
me
will
that's like the best way
say,
to do this. Like I
um,
another Slayer and Buffy's close with her.
yeah, yeah, no, I would love that. I think that that's a strong possibility, especially with all of the, with everyone being awakened with their
Yeah,
powers and her giving everybody the ability to embrace that
because
power.
that universe has changed after that finale, right?
Right,
Like
of course. And I don't think they're going the route of the comics, which is nice because that just kind of goes off the rails at some point
it
too.
does. Yeah,
Um,
I don't. I'm very hit or
but
miss
I
with the
also
comics,
heard,
but
and
yes, it's
this
sometimes
could
it's
be
like
debunked by now, I don't know, but I did hear that Emma Caulfield and Michelle Trachtenberg are going to be or have signed on to do it. So I don't know if that's true. Don't quote me necessarily, but that's allegedly something I saw that could be fact checked online. But if that's the case too, but also how would Emma fit into it as Anya because Anya was sliced and diced,
I
unless
mean,
how unless what's his face? What's the why can't I, oh my god my brain? The the master vengeance demon.
the Hoffren.
The Hoffren, thank you. I was like, why can't I think of this? Because I was thinking Halfrek for whatever reason. No, I was like De Hoffren. So unless De Hoffren somehow judged her back to life.
Well, I think that's a good thing with this universe is supernatural and like the rules are kind of shaky, so it's like sure. If it was something like it's her ghost or like it's like I don't know. My big like dream is that Cordelia appears as a higher power who like helps the Slayer sometimes. I think that would be what she deserves. I know she died, but I think like let her be the higher power that she thought she was going to be, and I think
That's kind
that
of fierce. That's
right
actually
like
it's batshit crazy, but it's also kind of fierce because I mean, and also it pays to Charisma Carpenter after all of the stuff that has been put out about how she's treated by Joss Whedon.
yeah.
And I think that that would be like a huge not even a fuck you. I think that that would just be like a see, I'm worthy. I'm gonna
Yes.
be here and I'm gonna hold my space. I'm gonna own it, and I don't need to say fuck you because I am a strong, empowered woman, just
Yes.
like all of these slayers,
Yes. Yes.
and
A
I will be
hundred
the
fucking percent.
goddess.
Yeah.
Work.
Like right like that's my dream.
These grapes are sour. Have to always go. It's one of my favorite Cordelia lines.
So my mom was the one that got me into Buffy, and like me and my mom would always talk about Cordelia's last episode on Angel like all the time as like because I remember us watching it together and just like crying.
I only watched the
Right.
first 2 seasons of Angel.
Ah, rude.
I'm. This is how you know. Like I'm a die hard Buffy fan. Like without Buffy, the universe doesn't exist to me.
I
And
mean
so
it's not as good, but
right, and I've been told to go back and watch it now, but like I just kind of dropped off from it because I was like, God, Angel's good, but like him and Buffy together are what make it's what makes Angel. Like when he okay, I could literally talk about this for hours, but literally when he returns in season 7 for that moment, it's so good.
it is. I do
But
love
it's then their chemistry is like
immediate. Yeah.
like it's literally like that best friend or that like that person you haven't seen in a very long time that like no time has passed. I mean, for Angel it hasn't, for Buffy it has,
Right.
but it's like it's that thing with them. They just have that instant chemistry, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, I do love that, which is funny because a lot of fans learned a lot about the fandom doing this podcast. A lot of fans, like, hate that. Like, they think, like, he's poorly written in that scene, that, like, it doesn't make sense that they kiss, and I think it does, right? Like
Who are these people? Like, have these people not like? Here's my thing. Like, there's been okay. I dated this guy a long time ago, and we didn't really end on great terms, like, so to speak. And then
Yeah.
for years we didn't talk, and then we kind of like saw each other out one night. We made out all night, but we didn't go home together. We just took the train together. But then, but that's the thing. Like, every time we see each other, it's like this, like, oh, hi. But it doesn't
Yes.
it doesn't really mean anything. It's like that initial, like, oh, hello, and then we just
Yes.
go straight into talking, and it's nothing but that. So it kind of it for me, that works a lot.
Yes.
That dynamic works a lot because I understand that dynamic. If you've never had that dynamic, I can understand not understanding the experience, but
No, I think that, like, encapsulates it, like, my ex and I, my, like, one ex that's, like, I call my good ex, like, we kiss when we see each other, but, like, hello on the lips, but, like, people will be like, "Isn't that weird?" I'm like, "No, we used to fuck for years, like, what? No, like, that's fine, that's
it feels weird
normal."
if we don't.
Yeah, like,
So
uh,
yeah, so I again, I never really got into Angel the way that other people did. It I fell in love with Angel on Buffy.
that's fair.
And so
I
when the vibe changes a little bit,
If it makes you feel any better, after Angel season 2, half of my co-hosts quit because they hated Angel so much. They were like,
see,
"I'm so
see,
sorry, I can't do this anymore," and I was like,
see, so I don't feel bad. I just don't. It's just not. It's inferior.
"Listen, but I'll tell you, my snobby opinion is, as a true Buffy fan, you should wanna complete the whole universe." I know how insufferable that is.
It is. I mean, it is. I mean, I guess you could look at it from either angle, but moral of the story is I'm really excited for the
Yeah.
reboot. I think it's going to be fantastic. I hope that somehow they fit in Emma Caulfield and Michelle Trachtenberg, and I kind of hope that they bring back some of the old, like, potential Slayers as well.
Yeah,
I think
I
that,
actually like, not that I was in love with any of those characters, but I think it would make sense, right? Like,
and I don't want Willow to go off all raging bad witch again. I would hate that.
no, 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 I don't want that.
I,
Because I even said I wouldn't mind seeing Kennedy. I don't want her and Willow together, but I feel like Kennedy would be a leader of, like,
oh
a group
yeah,
of Slayers or
what's
something.
the other actress? The one that Dawn, I can't remember the
Sarah
name of.
Hagen? Amanda?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think I would love to see her again. But
she
does she
died.
die?
Yeah,
She did die.
she's
Oh
the
yeah,
one that, like,
the
you recognize
steak.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the side. Yeah, she
yeah.
is. That she's definitely one of the ones that I would have loved to see again. But I don't I some of them were just in, you use this word, some of them were insufferable. But I would also like to be introduced to some new ones. But I think it would also do well for them to go back to the roots of the show, like the very beginning. Like, if you're gonna reboot the show, you're gonna have all these Slayers, but maybe there's a moment where you open it with this one Slayer who's awakened, who Buffy hasn't found yet,
Yeah,
and then, like, she teaches her like, Buffy acts as almost like a watcher.
yeah. Yeah, no, I would love it. I would love it. JMV, let everyone know where they can find you.
Every glory hole. No. Um, Everyone, my name is JMV, and for Just My Vibe, and you can find me on Instagram at the only JMV. You can also find me on Venmo, PayPal. Just kidding. But definitely, I would say just do it there, because unless you are into adult content, don't find me other places.
Thank you so much for joining me. You are a delight, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank
Bye.
you so much for having me. Bye.